Hey guys, George here from MyNaturalHerniaCure.com, and I'm doing this video today to show you the 5 root causes of an inguinal hernia. If you're new to my channel, I've been chronicling my journey through healing my hernia naturally for about the last 5 years. And if you're interested in this subject, make sure to like this video. That'll help more people find it in the future. Leave me any comments or questions that you have down below in the comments section, and make sure you subscribe to my channel. And if you do subscribe to my channel, make sure that you hit the little bell notification so that way you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. So just a little bit about my story. I ended up with an inguinal hernia about 5 years ago. When it was at its worst, it was about the size of 2 golf balls together in the inguinal canal. And I didn't want to get surgery, so I was looking for a natural way to heal it. I decided to start a blog to chronicle what I was doing in order to reach that goal, so that anybody that was looking for information down the road, if I was successful, would be able to go back and see exactly what I did. So during that time, while I was trying to figure all this stuff out, I was just writing posts on my blog and my Facebook page and things like that, and I was talking to a lot of different people throughout that time and getting a lot of different information, doing a lot of research on everything, and then, you know, just using trial and error for myself to try and find out what was going to work and what wasn't. And what I figured out after talking to so many people about this and doing all this trial and error, everybody that I talked to always had these same 5 symptoms that I realized later were the root causes of a hernia. And I'll take you through what those are right now. The first one would be poor pelvic posture. In my case, this was anterior pelvic tilt, and that's when your pelvis is tilted a little bit forward. So your ass sticks out a little bit to the back and your stomach sticks out a little bit to the front. There was some other people that had other types of pelvic postural issues, but for the most part, I would say 90% of the people that I spoke with had anterior pelvic tilt, just like I did. So that I realized right away, that was number 1. Number 2 was weakness in the muscles surrounding the inguinal canal. And that's the transversus abdominis and the inner and outer obliques. Those are the muscles that actually make up the anatomy of the inguinal canal. I have a couple other videos on my channel if you want to go back through those to see the exercise that I did to strengthen up these muscles. One of them was an exercise routine with 10 exercises that you do while you're laying on your back. And then there was another one that was an ab vacuum exercise. I have 2 videos on the ab vacuum exercise that are, there's just a couple little variations that I made throughout between the 2 different videos. The third root cause would be a diet that consists of foods that cause gas, bloating, or constipation. Everybody's different as far as diet's concerned. No 2 people are going to be alike. So what I do for me is going to be a lot different than what you do for you. But in order to stop the bloating and the gas, I had to cut out gluten out of my diet. That right away got rid of the bloating, and I had to cut out dairy, and that got completely rid of any gas that I had. And for me, in order to do that, what I did was I just did a little bit of an experiment. I cut the gluten out of my diet for 30 days. And then after the 30 days was over, I ate something with gluten in it to see how it would make me feel. Instantly, as soon as I ate the food with gluten in it, I could feel my stomach was just bloated. And actually there was a couple of other side effects from it that I didn't realize that would happen, which was that it made me feel super tired and just groggy throughout the day. I did the same thing with dairy. I cut the dairy out for 30 days, and then I went back on the 31st day and I ate something with dairy in it, and I noticed right away that gave me gas. Number 4 root cause would be tightness in the hips. For me, it was hips, hamstring, and lower back. When I first got my hernia, I was so immobile that I couldn't even get into a deep squat position. I just didn't have the range of motion in my hips. So because of all that tension in the hips, there's kind of a complex muscular structure that happens around the pelvis and the hip, because there's only one muscle that goes from the top of your body to the bottom of your body, which is the psoas. And when that psoas is tight, it's kind of pulling everything out of place. And without everything being in place, the musculature is not going to be able to hold the hernia in place the right way. So for me, the tightness in my hips and my hamstrings and my lower back, this was probably the hardest part of the whole thing, because it actually took a lot of time for me to gain that mobility back in my body. It took some dedication where I had to do some mobility exercises every night, every day. I had to do these no matter what. And it's uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable to push your body into positions where you just don't have the mobility to go. So it actually took a long time. It's been a couple of years since I've been doing this, and now I could get into a deep squat position and I could sit there for 5 minutes at a time with no problem. It's a resting deep squat position, where before I couldn't even get basically past the point where when you bend your knees to sit in a chair, I could get a little bit lower than that, and that was pretty much it, it was pathetic. The fifth root cause would be stress caused by repressed emotions such as anger in the unconscious mind. Most of you will probably write this off as bullshit and think that it doesn't have anything to do with a hernia, but I'm telling you right now that it does, and it's probably one of the most important aspects of a hernia is the mental aspect of it. So there's this huge emotional component to the hernia where basically your mind is using the hernia as a defense mechanism to stop you from feeling these unconscious emotions. Next time that you're in a stressful situation where, say, if you have to go in and talk to your boss at the office or something like that, something that makes you really uncomfortable, just pay attention to how much more your hernia bothers you in those situations than when it doesn't. And that is your hernia being used as a defense mechanism to protect you from feeling those unwanted feelings. That's your mind at work. So knowing that those are the 5 root causes of the hernia, in order to heal your hernia naturally, you're gonna have to put a plan in place to fix all 5 of these root causes. Because if you just go after the strength, or you just go after the mobility, or you just go after the diet or the mental aspect, whatever it is, you can't just do one at a time. It has to be a holistic approach. And that's what I did. So after it took about 3 years, or maybe even more than that, maybe 3.5 years of trial and error and talking to people and trying to figure things out with no results. I saw no results, and actually the hernia was getting worse as time went on. And then once I realized these 5 root causes and kind of put this together and put a system in place that I was going to follow in order to combat these 5 root causes, that's when everything just clicked. That's when my hernia went from the size of 2 golf balls together in the inguinal canal. Within 3 weeks, it was about half the size. And within about a couple of months, it was the size of an M&M. And then a couple of months after that, it was completely gone. And there's no lump, no pressure, nothing. So today, if I was just diagnosed with a hernia, those are the first 5 things that I would focus on. I would put a plan in place to combat those 5 root causes. So before you do anything though, the most important thing that you could do is to find a way to hold the hernia in all day, every day. For me, I couldn't find a hernia belt on the market that worked for me and for my lifestyle, so I had to design my own. If you want to take a look at that, you could see it at comfort-trust.com. I'm not saying that you have to buy mine. You could buy whatever you want, but you have to buy something that's comfortable and that works for you and that fits your lifestyle. So I have tons of other information on this on my channel if you want to go back through my videos if you don't already know my story. If you want to skip all that and just get right to the point, I put together an online program that's called the Proactive Approach to Hernia Intervention, which you could see. I'll link that in the description below. And basically, it's the entire thing that I did to combat these 5 root causes. Not only that, but day-to-day hernia management, dietary guidelines written by a certified nutritionist. And it's put together in a super easy to follow, nice online format. People are having a lot of good luck with it. I'll put the link to the description down below for that. So that way you can cut your trial and error time down to basically 0, because I've already done all the trial and error for you. So that's basically it. So like I said, if you got anything out of this video, make sure you hit that like button because it'll help people find it in the future. And ask me any questions you want down in the comments section. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take it easy.